Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're diving into a genuinely bizarre, unfolding case study. Have you ever wondered just how fast a public hero can be painted as a villain? Well, today we're unpacking our source material to look at the crazy story of a teacher who was violently attacked, only to be abruptly labeled a criminal himself. It's a story that reveals a massive, tangled national scandal, connecting education, media narratives, and a timeline of events that will absolutely make you question how public image is shaped. Let's get into it. Picture this. It's the night of June 2nd, and at a prominent coaching hub in Patna, a massive educational center is violently attacked. We're talking 15 to 20 people throwing stones, completely vandalizing the office, beating up a security guard, and firing gunshots into the dark. This wasn't just any local center either. It belonged to Khan Sir, literally one of India's most famous educators. But here is the massive plot twist our source highlights. Within mere days of this attack, the victim himself, Khan Sir, was hit with attempt to murder and arms act charges by the police. So how on earth does the person whose property was attacked suddenly become the prime suspect? You've got to see how fast this narrative flipped. Initially, the police found no evidence of firing at all. But a day later, footage surfaces showing Khan Sir's own guards firing into the air. The police arrested them, claiming the guards confessed they fired on Khan Sir's direct orders, like shoot and I'll handle it. But Khan Sir's defense is fiercely different. He argues his guards were brutally beaten, that the attackers threatened to literally bomb him within days, and that the shots were strictly self-defense while they waited for the police to arrive. As he pointedly asked the media, should we throw flowers or do arty while being attacked in the dark? That takes us right to Section 1, the rise of a giant. Who is Khan Sir? To understand why this local police incident became such massive national news, we really have to look at our protagonist. The scale of his influence is just staggering. Since starting his YouTube channel back in 2019 with nothing but a camera and a whiteboard, Khan Sir has amassed an astonishing 2.6 crore subscribers. That is 26 million people. And he did this by breaking down incredibly complex topics in a highly accessible, engaging, and honestly, a pretty hilarious Desi style. He built this huge following entirely through the power of his content. And crucially, he did it without any major media backing. While traditional coaching centers are out there charging lakhs of rupees, basically creating a massive financial wall, Khan Sir offers education at a tiny fraction of the cost for poor students. But it actually goes way beyond teaching. According to our source, he recently opened a hospital in Patna where basic medical needs are astonishingly cheap. We're talking a blood test for just 7 rupees, an ECG for 25 rupees. I mean, think about what you paid for your last doctor's visit. Because of this immense community impact, he became a celebrated figure, routinely invited onto major news networks as a highly respected guest. Which brings us to Section 2, the media U-turn. From star to mafia, let's look at the sudden, really aggressive shift in mainstream coverage right after that June 2nd attack. Our source highlights a massive contrast here. The very same news channels that used to applaud him suddenly launched these aggressive campaigns against him. They branded him an absconder running from a special investigation team. Some channels even labeled him a mafia boss who grabbed land. And more notably, the source points out that certain media outlets began aggressively questioning his religion. They started referring to him as Faisal Khan and accused him of faking a Hindu identity just to get Tide Rockies. It was a complete, coordinated character assassination in a matter of days. This whole media trial culminated on June 7th, when a prominent national news anchor filed a staggering 2 crore rupee defamation lawsuit against Khan Sir in the Delhi High Court. Let that sink in. In just 9 days, India's most popular teacher went from a celebrated icon to being portrayed as a fugitive criminal facing massive legal and financial ruin. So, the big question is, why? Why the sudden flip? That brings us to Section 3, the real motive, and the hidden NEAT connection. Why would authorities and the media turn on him so aggressively over what was supposedly just a local coaching rivalry? Well, our source argues we have to rewind the timeline to the month of May to find out. Watch how this sequence of events builds, because this timeline is the core argument of our source material today. On May 3rd, the massive NEAT medical entrance exam took place, but the paper was leaked, leading to its cancellation on May 12th. Millions of students were completely devastated, and educators began demanding accountability from the National Testing Agency. The real tipping point, though, the source claims, was a May 29th TV debate. It was only after this fierce national debate that the June 2nd attack, the FIR, and the defamation cases followed in rapid-fire succession. During the fallout of those NEAT exam leaks, Khan Sir became one of the loudest, most critical voices against the testing agency and the government's handling of the whole mess, and he did not hold back. Speaking about the devastating reality facing poor students, he highlighted how families took on severe, crushing debt. He pointed out that mothers literally pawned their Mongol sutras, their secret marriage necklaces, just to afford to send their kids to take this exam. He gave a massive, undeniable voice to the desperate anger of the youth. And that brings us to that explosive May 29th TV debate. Our source notes that instead of questioning the authorities about the leaked papers, a prominent news anchor actually insulted the protesting teachers, calling them two-penny YouTube stars who were just looking for views. Well, Conser retaliated fiercely on air. He called the anchor a broker who runs a fake news shop to protect the establishment. According to our source material, this direct public challenge to the media's narrative is the exact moment the retaliation against him was set into motion. Moving right along to Section 4, Deflection and Fake Narratives, Breaking the Student Movement. The source claims that the attack on his center and the subsequent media trial aren't just weird coincidences, but coordinated tactics designed to suppress a massive, growing student movement around the paper leaks. Our source outlines the specific playbook used to distract the public here. First, introduce a Hindu-Muslim angle to divide people, which explains the sudden pivot to calling him Faisal Khan. Second, defame vocal educators to absolutely ruin their credibility. Third, physically shut down their operations. The source notes that over in Uttar Pradesh, coaching centers actively supporting the student protests were abruptly sealed by the government. And finally, plant fake protesters to make the legitimate student movement look anti-national. You really can't make this stuff up. This brings us to a wildly specific anecdote from the source material. During a student protest at Jantar Mantar, a man was interviewed saying, "We will break the country into 7 pieces." The clip obviously went viral and was widely used by critics to claim the student protesters were treasonous. But the source reveals that this man was actually planted by a political troll account, Abhijit Iyer Mitra. This account later admitted on social media that he sent the guy as a secret agent to deliberately say outrageous things as a joke, just to defame the movement. All right, pulling all of this together, we arrive at Section 5, Suppressing the Voice. Educate, agitate, organize. What is the overarching thesis here? It really comes down to why independent educators are deemed so incredibly dangerous to the establishment when they step out of the classroom and into public advocacy. The source argues that the system deeply fears the 3 pillars of a youth movement: educate, agitate, organize. Because Conser and others like him educate millions for practically no money, they empower the youth. When they agitate and speak up about injustices like the NEET leaks, millions of people listen. And if they actually begin to help students organize, they become an unstoppable force. Therefore, the source concludes, the system uses its machinery to ruthlessly target and dismantle these figures before they can successfully mobilize the masses. Which leaves us with this final thought. We've traced this timeline all the way from a devastating exam leak to a late-night attack straight to a high court defamation case. Based on the arguments presented in our source, the timing is deeply, deeply unsettling. If a teacher simply asking questions on behalf of indebted students can trigger the wrath of an entire media and legal system, who is really on trial here, the teacher or the system itself? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking questions, and I'll see you in the next one.